Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the Flight Sim world. This is FiberTruck95, and I hope you're all having a great weekend so far. Happy Sunday to all you guys. And today we're here in beautiful South Bend, Indiana, everyone. Welcome to my home state of Indiana. But today this is actually going to be the last official stream of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 for me. That's right, it's an end of an era for both for me as a flight simmer and my streaming career so far. This would be the last official stream. I mean, hard to believe, but yes, in 2 days, and Tuesday will be MSFS 2024. I will be starting streaming on that probably on Wednesday. But yeah, it's hard to believe the end of an era for Microsoft Flight Sim. Crazy to even think about. Can you believe it's been almost 4 years since MSFS 2020 came out? Wow. It's hard to believe. But yes, it's the end of an era. So today we're going to be doing a road trip across my home state of Indiana. But don't worry, we will be back in Indiana for our 50 States 50 Streams series. But we will be, but we're here in South Bend, Indiana, far northern part of the state. So here's our flight plan for today. If you guys are more curious, here you go, guys. I'm sorry about that. So we'll be starting here at South Bend International Airport. We'll fly over to the campus of Notre Dame before heading back down to South Bend. Then from South Bend, we'll make our way to Elkhart, the RV capital of the world, at Elkhart. Then we'll go southeast to Fort Wayne, Indiana, which has a rich military history, and we'll including Smith Field, a military airfield with a rich history. Before making our way over to Fort Wayne International Airport, Kilo Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha for our first stop. Then for our second stop, we're going to fly over from Fort Wayne. We'll fly over to Peru, Indiana. Then we'll fly right by Grissom Air Reserve Base. So we'll fly over Grissom. Then we'll fly over the community of Kokomo, Indiana. We'll fly over Kokomo before making our way to our second stop of the day here at Kilo Echo Yankee Echo. That is Eagle Creek Airport. Then for our third and final stop, we'll fly over Indianapolis, check out the world famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we'll fly around downtown Indianapolis, the largest city and state capital of Indiana. Then we'll make our way down south. We'll fly over Brown County and to Brown County State Park in Indiana, the largest state park in Indiana, surprisingly one of the largest state parks in the country. Then from there, we'll head down south. We'll hit the original capital of Indiana. We're going to head down to Corton, a place I have actually visited, the original capital of Indiana. Then we'll head west, and we'll be flying around here. We'll be flying around the banks of the Ohio River. We'll be flying down to Louisville, Kentucky. We won't be visiting Louisville itself, but we'll fly around the Ohio River. Then we'll make it to our final stop here at my home airport at Clark Regional. Home airport. I mean, what a better way to wrap up 4 years of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 than to return back to my home airport. So before we get started, I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. We have my trusty moderator, Super Typhon. Good to see you here, lurking. And hello to all the lurkers in chat. Welcome on in, everyone. Great to have you here. So we're taking the Beechcraft Bonanza for today's flight. I feel like the Bonanza would be a good choice for today. Fast, should give us pretty quickly. And I think the Bonanza would be fantastic for today's trip. So the airport we're here today is South Bend International Airport. Believe it or not, this is Indiana's second busiest airport after Indianapolis. It was founded back in the 1930s. It currently has 3 runways: 9 left, 27 right at 4,300 feet, 9 right, 27 left at 8,400 feet, and 1836 at 7,100 feet. Some of the airport's mainly used for a lot of air services to destinations such as Chicago, Detroit. Yes, this place actually does fly from South Bend to Chicago. That's a real flight. Washington Dulles, Minneapolis, Knoxville, Charlotte, lots of Florida destinations, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. This is also used to transport the Notre Dame for Notre Dame athletics. Also uses the airport too. And if you guys aren't aware about Notre Dame, basically Notre Dame is the prestigious football school of Indiana. A pretty big school. Go ahead and get her started. So we'll get that on. So there's a lots of it's gone on from for the flight sims world and stuff. So South Bend, Indiana, if you guys aren't aware of it, it is Indiana's fourth largest city, located just south of the border of Michigan. Population 103,000 people. It was settled in the early 19th century by fur traders and established in 1865. It was much of its economy was shaped on the banks of the St. Joseph River, which built a lot of South Bend's economy back in the days. And there was also lots of industry was here, most notably the Studebaker Corporation, which produced a lot of Studebaker cars. They produced a lot of the automobiles used. They produced a lot of the automobiles for here too. However, population decreased in the 1960s due to the migration of suburban areas and the demise of much of its industry. Nowadays, South Bend is most well known for healthcare, education, small business, and tourism are a big part of South Bend's current economy today. Of course, its economy and culture is very much influenced by the University of Notre Dame, which is the private Catholic school here in South Bend, founded in 1842. And you guys probably all, we've been visited Indiana before to check out football schools. Notre Dame was one of the football schools we checked out on that stream. The reason this was important is because, well, Notre Dame football is an institution here in the state. Notre Dame football is a huge institution within the state of Indiana. It's like, Notre Dame football was before even the Colts even before even the Colts even arrived at Indy in 1984. The premier, if you wanted to watch football in the state of Indiana, you go watch Notre Dame or Purdue, but mainly Notre Dame, of course, because they've always won plenty of national championships. We'll be climbing 500 feet. So welcome to Indiana, everyone. Just departed from South Bend. We'll be making our way up. Beautiful, beautiful southern Indiana. Now, of course, for the all-state, I've already worked on some flight plans for the all-state 50 states tour. South Bend would actually be our final stop for the Indiana part of the tour. Be our final stop. Yeah, South Bend definitely is known for a lot of um, it's got a lot of rich history thanks to a lot of the Catholic immigrants that came to South Bend and stuff. But a big part of the culture here, there's some really good museums, including the Studebaker National Museum from the Studebaker Corporation. That's a if you love your cars and stuff, that's definitely a place you want to check out. Of course, the big part for sports, obviously, they got some minor league teams, but the big sports is Notre Dame. Most notably, football is a big deal in Notre Dame. Football's had such a long history and tradition here in the States. I mean, and they first played in 1887. And they're one of the only schools to be independent. And they've won 11 national championships, claimed 11 national titles. They've had many rivalries over the years, most notably with with USC, with USC, Purdue, Army, Navy, and in Michigan. But their most notable is USC. But Notre Dame has a rich college tradition, and I mean, if you're a college football fan, you definitely want to make a trip up to South Bend. Watch the Irish play football. Speaking of the Irish, they're doing very well this season. I know they had that one loss against NIU, but I mean, outside of that though, Notre Dame has been playing insanely well. Notre Dame's playing insanely well this year. Outside of that one loss to NIU, they've been very good all season. Really good teams. They beat Louisville pretty good. Georgia Tech, Navy. They got some nice wins. And they've been taking care of business. Not really surprised Notre Dame's playing. It's such a. Oh, I forgot to check out. I was so busy talking, I forgot to talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and head back to South Bend and all that. Apparently, we flew over all of it. So. Again, we're in no rush here. We can take a little bit of our time, but we flew over all of this. So this is downtown South Bend, Indiana. This is Mishawaka, Indiana, down below, on the banks of the St. Joseph. So this here's downtown. Just gonna check out here. And then to our right is Notre Dame's campus, Notre Dame University, and there's the football stadium, which can host almost 80,000 people at Notre Dame Stadium. So. And here's Notre Dame to our left. So there's Notre Dame. So let's go ahead and bank back to our original. Here's downtown South Bend. Yeah, this sim, man, it still looks great, even today. There's Notre Dame. Downtown South Bend looks great. There's Notre Dame right over here. Here's the Notre Dame campus thing. I gotta look past it. So there's Notre Dame, and here's their campus up here. So we'll continue this way. We're gonna head to our next stop, next waypoint here in Elkhart. Population 53,000 people. And it's the most populous city in Elkhart County, Indiana. It was part of the Northwest Territory stuff, but Elkhart was actually founded around 1832 as the village of Pulaski in 1829. It became Elkhart in 1839, and it's still stuck. However, this area didn't really grow until the late 19th and early 20th century, thanks to many musical instrument factories, a medical company, and numerous mills. But of course, this really grew with post-World War II, being the RV capital of the world. It was also called the band instrument capital of the world as well, due to all the musical instruments. For example, the Stefan Hauser saxophone were produced here. But yeah, mobile homes were a big part of how much it grew here. And there's a whole RV museum. And the reason why Elkhart's called that is because more than 80% of the world's RVs were produced here in the region. And because it's home to like RV manufacturers like Winnebago, Thor Industries, Forest River, Gulfstream Coach, and more were all founded here in Elkhart. If you know anything about RVs, they probably were being here in Elkhart. Here's downtown Elkhart. There's Elkhart Municipal, and there's Elkhart, Indiana. Oh, there's Elkhart. We're going to turn right. Yeah, here's beautiful Elkhart, Indiana. There's Elkhart right in front of you guys. So yeah, I do want to recap something else that's been on my mind for a bit. Yeah, it's been 4 years since we started this journey back in MSFS 2020. kind of hard to believe it's been that long. So my experience with MSFS 2020, I started on release day. Believe it or not, this was my first flight sim. I wanted to have a flight simulator, so when I heard MSFS 2020, I really was interested in getting it because I've always wanted a flight sim of my own. Since, if you guys are aware, I've always been a fan of aviation. And I was so attached to this sim for general aviation, I was so impressed with it, I stuck with it. So when I started, I got attached to it, and it's my first flight sim again. And then, of course, we had a lot of add-ons. In fact, some of my favorite ones were for the freeware stuff. But the thing that really changed my simming stuff was little nav map, which was huge because now I knew where to navigate and all that too. That changed a lot of my flight simming. And of course, the other thing that changed my entire flight sim career was, of course, all the joysticks and stuff. My Thrustmaster Airbus stuff has worked well for me for 3 years, for all 4 years of my flight sim. But of course, and finally, the last big thing that really changed my flight simming career was, of course, when I first met Tuto Murphy back in 2021. So I was looking at Twitch one day to try and find somewhere to do some group flights and all that. I stumbled across Twitch and looked for flight sim content creators, and then I found this Irish dude named Tuto Murphy. He was doing group flights and stuff, and I thought that was a lot of fun. I'm really interested in that sort of stuff because I previously had just been flying alone. And well, behold, I met Murph in his community, and everything changed for the better. And I've been a part of Murphy's community since, well, the day I joined back in February. And it was a big change. I mean, I've been through that community through thick and thin. It was apparently I met him during his trip in Canada, I believe, up in British Columbia. That's when I first met Tuto Murphy. And I mean, everything else changed. I mean, then I got later on into flight sim streaming. Yeah, I've been part of him since February 26, 2021. Been for over 3 years with Murphy. And I don't even regret any of it. I couldn't be any happier. And I met so many amazing people in Murph's community. Not just Murphy, but also legends like Gibbo, Allison, MuseFan, Kaharia, Hugh Super Typhon, of course, my mod Super Typhon. And it wasn't just Murph's community. I met so many amazing people on Twitch as a streamer. I've met many amazing community members over the years. Foxtrot, my longtime close friends, Flox and Splasher, have been huge for me, honestly. They've been massive inspirations for me to be a streamer, be nice and chill, and just have a good time. Those two are massive legends in my book. Border's been a huge inspiration for me. Ruffy Tam has been a great friend. Huge respect for Colonel Fork and his military stuff. Again, there's I can't wait to see what more military stuff got planned for his community. And there's so many amazing other people around this community. Not just GA, but even the airliners too. So many amazing people. Honestly, being back in flight simming, I think, was one of the best decisions I've ever made. in terms of my gaming career. I now have met plenty of amazing people online. Talk about the passion of aviation and flying and all that too. But it's been one heck of a journey, that's for sure. One heck of a journey in many ways possible. So, amazing people. That's why I want to give a shout out to some of those people too. Of course, we can't have any of this without Murphy. He was the original guy who joined his community. Two-Tone Murphy's community is, and he's an absolute legend in every sense of the word. I wouldn't be streaming here without Murphy. Murphy's just such an inspiration. He's one of the big GA content creators for general aviation. And I've always been a fan of GA, so when Murphy just changed my entire flight sim experience. But amazing dude, and he's even better in person. He's just such a nice, chill guy in person. Especially talking to him when he's not streaming. And he's been a massive help for me too. I mean, as a proud resident researcher and admin for Firefire, just gotta give him a shout out. He's more of an artist. And of course, the person who also helped me get into streaming as well is Allison Johnson. She is such an absolute star. The first lady of the skies, literally. If you guys don't know about Allison, she's the preeminent historical flight recreationer here in our community. She's done so many flights. She did the Amelia Earhart around the world twice, including the second time doing it with an actual Electra with Celestial Navigation with Captain Arash. That was really special, and she's done so many of these. Can't wait to see what she can do in 2020. I mean, Allison, an absolute legend. She even helped me get into streaming to be. So, massive shout out for her. Love what she did for a very, very long time. Amazing, amazing. And I think there's two more people I want to give a shout out to. Ones I'd be thankful for my flight sim. First is, of course, my longtime friend Floxtrot, who's been amazing. I've always been in Flox streams. I'm one of his mods too. But Flox is such a fun and awesome guy to be around. Him and Treetop just have such a great dynamic. So, love Flox's content and stuff. I'm super excited to see what 2024 brings for you, Flox. Brings you into the table here too. And then the last guy, Slasher6. And he's been a very close friend of me too. And Porter too. Thanks, Typhon. Porter's also been really cool too. But yeah, so many amazing people in this community. That's why I'm so blessed to be part of the flight sim community. To hang out with such amazing people. But yeah, my first thing I did when I was doing flight sim 2020 was it was a GA bush trip tour. It was let me show you what I was talking about. I actually have it. This one. You guys remember this when this was released back in 2020. But yes, this was the flight plan we did back in my very first ever experience with 2020 was the Nevada bush trip, which was absolutely fantastic. Which was you flew from Bakersfield, you in the Savage Cub, you went through all of this. But I mean, when I was doing this flying stuff, I was just jaw dropped. Just how beautiful this sim truly can be. You flew over Sequoia National Forest, all the beautiful mountains of the Sierra Nevada. So many beautiful, amazing, so many incredible. Fly over Reno. Of course, you fly over Lake Tahoe. Then you flew over Yosemite National Park. Oh, that was absolutely breathtaking. That was the first thing I did for 2020 was bush. There were so many really fun bush tour streams, bushes stuff. That was just so much fun. It was just so much fun back in the day. I might redo some of the stuff in 2024 now that I have the knowledge of stuff. But I mean, I have so many series planned for 2024, though. I have the 50 States, 50 Streams, which would be my first series for 2020. And I've already got flight plans worked on for all of those. I've already got the one worked on for Indiana. Similar to this flight plan, actually. But we actually start in Evansville, go to Vincennes, check out Bloomington, Indiana, go to Indianapolis, check out Muncie, go to Fort Wayne and end up in South. But yeah, I'm already working on all those flight plans. Trying to find interesting places we can fly to and all that. I got all those working on. I mean, I had such a great time in this sim with all of you guys. It's an absolute blast. Yeah, I'm gonna be missing this sim greatly, but I'm have high hopes for 2024, especially with all the new GA toys to play with in the new sim. We're gonna have so many amazing to play with for 2024. I mean, the GA toys I'm most excited to try is the Draco, Optica. I already have the Optica, but the Optica's gonna be in the base sim. The Draco's gonna be insane. That Sin Savage Norden's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what the Norden's got. The Albatross, Dornier Sea Star. Those are gonna be so much fun for them. The agricultural planes are gonna be pretty cool too. I can't wait to test those out. So many amazing new GA planes to check out and explore. Very, very excited. All the new GA. Love them. So we're about to head to Fort Wayne, Indiana. So Fort Wayne will be our next stop. Fort Wayne's actually Indiana's second most populous city after Indianapolis. Population of around 263,000 people. Its metropolitan area is 423,000 people. Fort Wayne was built in 1794 by the U.S. Army under the direction of Anthony Wayne, who's the namesake of the city. It's built in the confluence of the St. Joseph, St. Mary's, and Maumee rivers. Originally known as Fort Miami. The modern city was actually platted down in 1823 after being revitalized from the War of 1812. And it went through tremendous growth under the completion of the Wabash and Erie Canal and the avenue of the railroad. It was once a booming manufacturing town. Fort Wayne's economy in the 21st century is based on distribution, transportation, and logistics. It was an All-American City Award recipient in 1983, 1988, 2009, and 2021, making it one of the most livable cities here in Indiana, of course. Historically, this was a manufacturing town, mainly with lots of companies such as the Dana Holding Corporation, Five Staff Brewing Corporation, General Electric, International Harvester, Magnavox, Oak Crown Brewing, and Talkheim used to have a lot of manufacturing presence here in the city. But it was also a major export was magnet wire, which at one point Fort Wayne supplied nearly 90% of North America's magnet wire market. However, again with the Rust Belt and stuff, kind of fell apart, though it's been revitalized and rediversified as well. But there's definitely some really cool stuff here to visit, though. We got the Performing Arts Embassy Theater. It's got one of the nation's most well-known zoos, the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo. One of the top zoos in the United States is here in Fort Wayne. One of the top zoos in the country. Got lots of festivals and events, including the Johnny Appleseed Festival. And it apparently is where Johnny Appleseed was actually buried at, whereas he was supposed to be is believed to be buried right here in Johnny Appleseed Park. He's buried here in Fort Wayne. It's also home to some minor league teams, most notably the Fort Wayne Comets of the Eastern ECHL and the Fort Wayne Tin Caps of High A Central Minor League Baseball. In fact, Fort Wayne used to be the home of the Detroit Pistons, believe it or not. They used to play at Fort Wayne before they moved up to Detroit. Yes, I mean, the Pistons used to play at Fort Wayne. Crazy towns. And apparently, Fort Wayne was also credited as the birthplace of the NBA, too. So again, Fort Wayne has a lot of unique history. During World War II, of course, Fort Wayne was mainly used for Smith Field. And of course, we'll be landing here at Bauer Field, and that airport has quite a bit of a World War II history. So we're about to reach downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we'll be heading back out to the exterior, check out. So yes, this will take me a bit of a while to get things installed. So, of course, I'm going to have to uninstall nearly everything tonight and tomorrow because it's gonna be a brand new sim, so I'm going to have to treat it as a new sim. Here's downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana. Now we'll be landing at Fort Wayne International Airport. However, it actually used to be known as Bauer Field. Okay, here's Fort Wayne, Indiana, guys. One of the most livable cities here in the state. So Fort Wayne International Airport used to be known as Bauer Field. It was actually used for World War II. It was named after Paul Bear, who was a well-known World War I fire ace. And actually, fun fact, Paul Bear was actually the first flying ace in American military aviation history. And he was a Fort Wayne native. And this airbase was mainly used for the 13th Service Squadron, as it was for ordnances and stuff, as well as a pursuit squadron, a P-39 Air Cobras and stuff, right here. And of course, over 100,000 people served out of Bear Field during the war. They mainly use it for training and stuff. It didn't become a municipal airport until post-World War II. It's a really cool facility, and it's got a rich history. And if you guys aren't aware, Indiana has a really rich military history, too. There's a lot of military. There's a surprising number of military stuff here in the state. In fact, I think one of my stream stuff I'm planning with Allison, I'm hoping I'm still doing the collaboration with her, is talk about Indiana in World War II. How did Indiana was involved in the Second World War military veteran? Because a lot of people kind of overlook my state for World War II, but Indiana should not be overlooked at all for the war. After all, Indiana actually has a lot of contributions to the Second World War. Yeah, this is Fort Wayne International Airport. Used to be known as Bear Field. So this will be our first stop of the day here uh, at Fort Wayne International Airport, formerly known as Bear Field during World War II. Yeah, quite a bit, a lot of stuff to cover here for just a bit. We'll just sit here for just a little bit. If you guys want to join on in, we're on the Southeast Asia server. Let's go ahead and prepare for the next leg. We're gonna head to Eagle Creek Airport. We'll fly over Person Joint Air Reserve Base. And So, let's go ahead and we're gonna head to our next waypoint here in Peru, Indiana. Yes, Peru, Indiana. It's crazy. Town named Peru. So let's talk a little bit about my streaming career for a bit. This is the end of an era, of course. So if you guys aren't aware about my uh, time for being a um, about my flight streaming career, I do want to talk about my flight streaming career. So my very first series I've ever done here on Twitch, by the way, I started this in 2021. I started doing it originally on Sundays because I wanted to try out streaming. So if you guys aren't aware, my first ever series was this one, Play Ball. Now, the idea for this stream was I love general aviation, I love all of that sort of stuff, but was way back in 2020, and we did and this was the series I did, which was Play Ball. I did it because I love baseball, and because of it, I wanted to do a baseball related series because I love baseball, and I like GA, so I decided to combine the series. So I did the Play Ball series. We explored many different destinations. So we explored all 30 Major League Baseball teams in their cities. So started from Cincinnati, of course, because this was where we did the series. then we did Cleveland. Then Pittsburgh, of course, the Pirates. It was all mostly continuous series. Then Baltimore and DC. But a lot of it was general aviation as well. Then of course, Philadelphia, we talked about baseball history, baseball lore, the sport, some of its favorite players and stadiums. It was really cool though. We got to explore all these famous sporting venues and all that. We got to explore all of it, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun exploring all these amazing places for visit. Just super cool, especially with general aviation. It was so much fun. I really do enjoy it. And we went through all the team stuff. But it was a lot of fun. Including one of them being spring training and all that, too. And here's the thing, I might bring it back in 2024. If there's enough interest, I could very well bring that series back. The whole thing. So after that, I didn't really do many other series, but I instead did my next series, which is going to be this one here. This was the first historical flight series I've ever done here on Twitch, and that is the 1926 Lufthansa Berlin to Beijing flight. So if you guys aren't aware of the story, basically, I was talking to a fellow community member, Nightsa, who was a very loyal, very kind member to our community. Nightsa, great friend of mine, and he suggested this idea because I love the J52 and I wanted to see if there was any historical stuff related to the plane. So he did a lot of research. Nightsa actually had the book I was looking for. Let me go back to. Still have it. And this was planned for 2022. He did all the notes and stuff for each leg of the journey. He did all the notes because he had the book. And it was about the Junkers G-24 doing a flight between Berlin to Beijing. They couldn't fly traditionally, so they had to fly uh, across Russia. And me and Zepp talked about how to plan for each of the notes and stuff and all that. Which was super cool. It was my very first ever historical series I've ever done on anything. It was such a cool and underrated flight, and we did all the legs. So basically, here's what this flight plan kind of looked like. We started here in Berlin on Tempelhof, which, if you guys aren't aware about Tempelhof, that was the historic Berlin airport. Flew it over here, fly across to there, went to Kaliningrad, which at the time was Königsberg. Then we went through Lithuania, Latvia, into Russia. And we went through all across Russia. If you guys don't know about Russia, it's absolutely huge. We flew over Moscow, Ekaterinburg, Smolensk, Irkutsk. And then we made our way down through to Manchuria and went all the way to Beijing. All of it in the Ju-52, which is pretty crazy, but it's such a cool adventure. We got to explore so much of Russia. And we got to explore so much of it, which is really cool. We don't, like I said, Russia's not a country we do a lot of exploring. But we got to visit some really cool areas, most notably Lake Baikal, which I want to do more flying in Russia, maybe. Well, see what it looks like after update. I know this was before the Russian invasion of Ukraine as well. And that's probably why I didn't do a lot of flying in Russia, but it took about a couple months, but we did the entire Russia flight, which is pretty cool. But the Berlin Beijing thing, that was a lot of fun. That was a great thing to learn. Historical flight plan. I still have them up on YouTube. Then after that, of course, we did a couple more series with Firefly Air, including a Route 66 series, which I did for Firefly Air. We did a couple of those series, including Japan, the Philippines, and most notably, Route 66, which is something I've done was the entire Route 66 on FS Hub. So I did my own Route 66. I did the Orient Express as well. Now it's based on some of those based on those FS Hub achievements. That's what I did a lot of those series for. But of course, my most ambitious series I've ever done was last year, which was this one. Of course, you guys are more than welcome to check out my Discord, obviously. Here's the Discord link if you guys are curious. But this was the big series I did, the 2017 Britley DC-3 flight. The reason I wanted to do this was because, if you guys aren't aware, the DC-3 came out for 40th anniversary edition. And if you guys don't know about DC-3, it is one of my all-time favorite planes both in real life and the sim. It's just, I love the DC-3. It's such an icon. Well, I was looking for I wanted to also do an around the world trip, and I looked, and I love the DC-3, so I did some research, and I founded this book, which is written by Francisco Agulo and with photography from Takanuga. I have the book up here in my room, by the way. But this project planned back in 2013, and after being rejected for 3 years, it became a reality in 2017, and he flew the call sign Hotel Bravo India Romeo Juliet, which at the time of that trip was 77 years old. And she took it all around, and they took this bad boy around the world to places such as Dubai, Phuket, Sendai, New York City, and more. And they did it in 7 months in 25,000 nautical miles from Geneva to Sion. I got the book, and I even got the completed flight plan and all that. So I have the entire thing. It took me quite a while too. It took me about 10 months to get this completed, but man, that was a lot of fun. And like I said, I've always wanted to do an around the world trip, and it was so enjoyable. Got to make a lot of experience stuff, and got to visit all sorts of amazing. But we went through so many amazing trips, and I actually had to get the plans. I had to go to the website, but it was just really. Hey, we have a raid of Sergeant Staff of Party 8. Sergeant Staff, good to see you, my dude. Welcome on in, Sergeant Staff of Raiders. I hope you have a great stream. I hope you enjoyed your time in Alaska. Beautiful home state. Beautiful state of Alaska. We're flying here at my home state here, Indiana. We're heading to our next waypoint in Peru, Indiana. We're about to make our way to Indianapolis. We're going to be hitting your Grissom Air Reserve Base. So, we were just talking a little bit about my flight sim experience in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. We're talking about some of my series and stuff going forward. So I was talking about some of the past series I've got done. I got my Lufthansa Berlin flight from 1926 done. I did some of my slideshows and stuff. And now I'm ready to show off my Britling DC-3 series. So guys, if you're unaware, I know Indiana Indiana is kind of a little flat, but it's not super flat. So we start all the way back in South Bend, and we're making our way down south to my home airport, Kilo Julia Victory. So guys, if you aren't aware about this, if you look down, see the bank of the river there. This is the banks of the Wabash, which is often known for Indiana's, which is Indiana's longest river, by the way, and has been a major part of Indiana pop culture, mainly with its state song "On the Banks of the Wabash." Major state river. Yeah, it does look a lot like Southern Michigan, that's for sure. It really does. It looks a lot like Southern Michigan. So this is Peru, Indiana that's coming up. We're going to come into Peru, Indiana. Population 11,000 people. Your residents usually pronounce the name as the nation Peru. However, if you're an elderly Hoosier, you actually use the archaic pronunciation Peru. But this community was founded in 1834 was when this was founded. It was home to a pioneering automobile maker, Model Automobile Company, but it didn't last too long. One notable part of history was John Dillinger. He actually robbed the Peru Police Department armory in 1933 and acquired some of the guns and stuff here during that time. And apparently, this was also was where shot. And another one thing that was happening here was it was the movie site of the movie Little Big Top, which talks about an agent unemployed clown here as well. And that's because Peru is well known for its circuses. It's the winter headquarters for several circuses, including the Hagenbeck Wallace Circus, Buffalo Bill's Wild West Show, and many others. So. And there's even an International Circus Hall of Fame. So yes, this area is famous for circuses. Oh, crazy about my home state. Like I said, there's still so much of my home state I don't. Crazy. Wasn't Auburn? Yes, Auburn, Duesenberg, and Studebaker were all made in Indiana too. Auburn made in Auburn, Indiana, of course. Studebakers were made in South Bend. Oh yeah, and Duesenberg is also made in Auburn too. Duesenberg and Auburn were both made in Auburn, Indiana. Studebaker was South Bend. So yes, Indiana actually had a thriving automobile industry, but of course, like all that said, it's surpassed by those in Detroit. Yeah, automobile industry in India has a long, rich history. But some people don't really know about that. Oh yeah, and Subaru was made here too. Yes, Lafayette's got the Subaru factory there too. But yeah, the next part we're going to check out is Grissom Air Reserve Base. This was actually a U.S. Navy installation, unbelievably. It was known as the Naval Air Station Bunker Hill, and it was known as Bunker Hill Air Base in Grissom until 1984. It was originally named Bunker Hill Air Force Base, but it was named Grissom Air Base after Indiana native Virgil Gus Grissom, one of the original men, one of the original astronauts. And it's home to the largest KC-135 Stratotanker wing in the Air Force Reserve Command, as well as also got the the 434 refueling wing here too. It's got a long history as well. It was mainly used for World War II. It was mainly used for World War II for the U.S. Navy for a lot of training facilities. Also, one of the most famous alumni here in this base was former Major League Baseball player Ted Williams. He actually was trained here in Bunker Hill before he went to Pensacola. Yeah, Ted Williams, legendary baseball. And it's featured quite a few times in pop culture, most notably Tom Clancy's In War, and the video game Tom Clancy's In War is a battlefield site. And it was featured in the mention of the movie Transformers Dark of the Moon as a base. Yeah, here's Grissom. There's also an air museum around this area, around the base too. So yeah, there's a major air museum. And apparently the air museum's got one of the B-58s. But yeah, the air museum's got quite a few planes in their collection, most notably the Convair B-58 Hustler. But yeah, in fact, it's the oldest remaining aircraft still in existence right here in India. The old Convair B-58 Hustler. This was, it could fly high altitudes and supersonic speeds. Back in the very interesting plane with the Delta wing design. Go Mach speed of Mach 2. Such an interesting plane. The next place we're going to hit our waypoint is the city of Kokomo, Indiana. Will be our next waypoint. 59,000 people live here in Kokomo. It's the largest city and regional center of the north central Indiana region. And it's named after the Miami Kokomo, which is known as Kokomo. It benefited from legal business. However, it grew with the railroads, natural gas reserves, and more importantly, lots of businesses innovations were here in Kokomo. And it was, in fact, this city was also a city of many firsts, believe it or not, in the old times. And there are tons of inventions and stuff, including the first canned tomato juice, mechanical corn picker in the 1920s, the first McDonald's with a diner inside, but there's a lot more first. Elwood Hayes actually made his trial run of the horseless carriage here. The first pneumatic rubber tire in the country was invented here in Kokomo. How about the first stainless steel tableware by Elwood Hayes? He was a well-known inventor. The howitzer shell was created here in Kokomo. The howitzer shell, the first aerial bomb with fins. Yeah, that used a lot even today. Yeah. Lots of inventions made here. First push-button car radio. First all-metal light bulb and rafts. First signal-seeking car radio. And even an all-transmitter car radio and stuff, like very first here in this. But yeah, really interesting stuff about Little Kokomo. Kind of gets overlooked. And here's Kokomo. Right here, you can definitely see some of the old industrial history here, the old factories and stuff. But yeah, Little Kokomo, despite its small size, many innovations here. So now we're going to head south over to the Indianapolis area. But yeah, lots of historical stuff here for my home state. Crazy. Let's get back to my flight. But yeah, we went all the way, and that's lasted for many months of the brilliantly deep around the world trip. It lasted for a long time. And it lasted all the way from New Year's Day, and it lasted us until nearly the end of, until November 12th. But yeah, we completed the around the world trip. My first ever around the world trip here in the sim of my streaming career. That was definitely a massive accomplishment for me at least. Doing my own around the world trip, which is a huge accomplishment for me and for me as a content creator. Always wanted to do an around the world trip, and I now got to do one. I did do the all countries trip. However, that was for 2024. However, I realized it wasn't really a great idea looking back, because the way I did it before was kind of flawed. And that was because with MSFS 2024 coming up, plus the way I formatted it, it just didn't really work out. Sad. Like, it was a great idea to do all countries around the world, but it would take forever. So, but that's the last of the journey stuff I did for 2020. So for 2020. So here's the good news about that series, though. It will come back. However, it will be a completely new format, and instead of doing what I did with one continuous journey, I'm thinking about just doing it with one country at a time, similar to my 50 states, 50 streams series idea, which is we visit the country, we go all across the place. So, for example, if our country was Ireland, for example, go over my little nav map. So, for example, if I was going to do Ireland, I would start from Donegal. This is just a rough idea. And it'll end in Dublin, but we'd be going through quite a few places. We'll head through Sligo. We're going to go around the coast. We're going to go through here, Clymar National park at you do close to Moher. Carry. Go over the ring here. Go through Cork, Cork here. And then make your way over to Dublin. And that would be what I would be doing next time. That way, instead of just doing one continuous stream, I could just do one country at a time and I could visit more places. But that way, that would solve the big issue from the last one. And it'll let me pick up the pace a lot quicker, too. It'll allow me to pick up the pace even quicker. So I think that would work a lot better for the kind of stream I want. So, but that would be not until the near future. It won't be until 2025, 2026 when I bring the series back. We're going to head our way down to Indianapolis. Now, if you guys aren't aware about Indianapolis, of course, it is my home state's capital and largest city. Population is, as of 2020, is 887,000 people. It's the 16th most populous city in the country, and the third most populous in the Midwest after Chicago and Columbus, and the fourth most populous state capital after Phoenix, Austin, and Columbus. Its metropolitan area is the 34th most populous at 2.1 million residents. Indianapolis was a planned city founded back in 1821 as a planned city. It was planned by Alexander Walstead and Elias Van Fordham. It's got the 29th largest metropolitan economy in the U.S., with prominent industries in trade, transportation, utilities, education, health services, and more. And it also has niche markets in both amateur sports and auto racing, as well as 2 major league sports teams, 3 Fortune 500 companies, and the world's largest children's museum here in Indianapolis. And of course, it's world famous for the Indianapolis 500 Motor Speedway. And finally, if you're a military guy and want to learn about military history, Indiana has lots of monuments dedicated to veterans and war casualties. And it's the largest collection of those outside of D.C. here in Indianapolis. Most well known for Monument Circle. We'll be flying over downtown Indy pretty soon. Just going to make our way to Eagle Creek Airport. No worries, Sergeant Staff. I hope you have a good one too. But we're going to make our way down to Eagle Creek Airport. About to reach my local area. We'll briefly fly over Indianapolis for a bit. Yeah, Eagle Creek Airport is one of the GA airports here in Indianapolis. Of course, Indianapolis does have its home airport, Indianapolis International, which I've flown into Indianapolis. It's actually quite nice. And it is actually one of the busiest cargo airports in the country. Because obviously, just like Louisville, it's definitely very good for the cargo aircraft. I think Eagle Creek Airport will come up. So here we go, guys. Our second lane of the day here at Eagle Creek Air Park. And we got one last leg left to go. And that is to that's to my home airport. That would be the last leg of the stream. The third and final leg would be to my home airport. This would be our second this is our second leg of the stream here. We just made our way over to Eagle Creek Airport. Here's our route for today. If you guys want to join on in, you guys are more than welcome to. This is a group flight, by the way. So let's go ahead and get ready for the final leg of the trip. Let's go ahead and head back. So we're going to check out Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, if you guys aren't aware about the Motor Speedway, of course, here in Indianapolis, Motor Speedway can host up to 400,000 people. It's the world's largest sport venue by capacity. Believe it or not, with 235,000 permanent seats. However, on the grand total for the Indy 500 can go up to 400,000 people. So it is the world's highest capacity sports venue in the world here in Indianapolis. If you're a racing fan, you definitely want to check out the Indy Motor Speedway. Especially if you're a racing fan, you definitely want to put this in your bucket list. Here it is, the Indy Motor Speedway Brickyard, of course. Yeah, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you're a racing fan, you definitely want to check that out. Of course, here's the rest of downtown. So here's the rest of downtown Indy. Check out and explore. Here's downtown Indianapolis. Here's Victory Field, Indianapolis. Here's Victory Field. That is Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Colts, play here. Here's the Indiana State Capitol building, and then of course, here's downtown. There's the Sailors Soldiers Monument. Obelisk Square and all that. There's all the Indiana War stuff all across this area. It's the Indiana War Memorial System. Lots of them here in the States. And we say goodbye to Indianapolis for the last time in MSFS 2020. So we'll make our way down over the south here, and we'll make our way across to we're gonna head this direction to Brown County State Park. So this state park is by far the largest of the 24 state parks here in the country, and it occupies about 15,000 acres of land, making it one of the largest state parks in the country, and it's one of Indiana's most visited ones with 1.2 million visitors annually. It was named for General Jacob Brown, who fought in the War of 1812 and became the commanding general for the U.S. Army. The park opened back in 1929. It was dedicated in 1932 as a memorial to Indiana humorist Frank Hubbard. He was a frequent visitor to Nashville in the Woods. And Brown Canyon's park are well known for its scenic views of the hills of southern Indiana, both home to a wide variety of trees and more. In fact, people call this Little Gatlinburg, as they call it, the Little Smokies, because of its scenic views. It has trails for hiking, biking, horseback riding, as well as things for ATVs and stuff. It's a beautiful state park. Very attractive area here in the state. Beautiful area. Lots of deciduous forests and lots of different kind of trees. And that's why it's sometimes called the Little Smokies, because of its similarity to the Great Smoky Mountains. Which makes sense. It's a beautiful little area. Beautiful state park. And there's lots of activities, sightseeing, bird watching, mountain biking, fishing, hiking, horse riding, all popular activities at the park. It has over 35 miles of mountain bike trails. It's one of the secret bike trails as well. Fishing's also quite important here too, at Ogle Lake. Well, hiking trails, they're over 18 miles long. And one of the fast growing recreation here is horseback riding too. But it's a great little park. It's a great state park. It's one of our most beautiful ones here. There's 24 of them here in the state, and there's plenty of amazing ones to visit. There's the Charleston State Park, which was once part of the Indiana Army Munition Plant. One that's also around our area is the Falls of the Ohio State Park, which has views of the Falls of the Ohio in Louisville. Indiana Dunes, which is part of Indiana Dunes National Park, which we'll be visiting in our National Park Tour coming in the future. Turkey Run. I visited Spring Mill. Springville's really cool. It's got a lot of Pioneer Village and stuff. Beautiful little state park. Lots of old. And then one of the most unique of the state parks is Turkey Run in Marshall, and that's out west. Well known for being really unique is its gorge. Its geology is really unique too, because there's a lot of sandstone gorges in part of the state park. It's great for hiking. And we're blessed with some really cool state parks here in the state. Again, I know Indiana isn't exactly the most naturally scenic state, but we do have some really nice collection of parks and places to visit. Of course, Indiana does have one national park, which is Indiana Dunes National Park. And it's among the most visited national parks in the country, and it's one of the newest ones, dating back to February 15, 2019. It's a relatively unique national park. Unfortunately, we won't be visiting today, but we will return to visit there in 2025. And speaking about MSFS 2024 series, what we got planned going forward. So, we starting on New Year's Day 2025, will be over a month. We'll be starting our very first MSFS 2024 series. And that'll be on Fridays and Sundays. We'll be doing all 50 states in 52 Cruise Tour will be touring each of the 50 U.S. states here in the country. And it would be all 50 states, and we'll be visiting each of the 50 states based on their remittance to the Union. So we'll be starting all the way from Delaware, the first state in the Union, and we will be going from Delaware to the ending being Hawaii, the 50th state. So I've already been working on some of the flight plans coming up to hear you guys. And there'll be a wide variety of flight plans, from pretty long flight plans to pretty short, and flight plans in between. But that way we can fly a wide variety of aircraft and more during our time. We get to fly a long variety of planes, which I think is going to be really enjoyable for all of us to fly, which I'm very excited to do this flying with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm nearly done with the notes. I just got to continue working on the flight plans. We're about to enter Brown County State Park here in Indiana. So that'll be the one series I'll be doing first. Depending on how much I get that done, then I'll work on my National Park series, which we will be covering all 63 national parks. It'll be the same as what we did for the U.S. states. So it would be from the oldest national park, which would be Yellowstone, and we'll go all the way to the newest national park that was established, New River Gorge National Park in West Virginia. But yeah, we're going to be visiting a ton of different places. And I think that would be the perfect thing to do for MSFS 2024, because the scenery and stuff should look way better. And I think that would make things way more interesting. I think you guys will be much more excited. Here it is, guys. We're about to enter into Brown County. And yeah, you guys can see why there's a little resemblance to the Little Smokies resemblance. Because you see all the little mountains and stuff. But guys, if you're enjoying this content and if you guys haven't followed yet and you're enjoying this content, smash that follow button to support the content. We stream here 3 days a week on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. As for next week, I might stream on Thursday and Saturday potentially because of MSFS 2024. If not, I'll just continue doing the 3 streams we've been doing since as normal. But we'll talk about different features. We'll talk about some of the places we can visit here in the city. Beautiful scenery here. Yeah, beautiful scenery here. That's breathtaking. Scenery here is pretty. All the forest here. Indiana's highest point is Hoosier Hill, actually, is the highest point. Look at all the forests. That's crazy. It's a much crazy area here in the state here. Gorgeous area here, Brown County. Yeah, beautiful area here in the state. Again, Brown County, one of the prettiest areas in the state. Tons of amazing forests and stuff. Gorgeous again. You wouldn't think this would be Indiana, but it is. So we'll go ahead and turn left here shortly. 52 nautical miles. Making our way down. So we're gonna head down to as well. So I think next week, I'm gonna spend Tuesday probably just set up all the controls and just do some control testing. And then Wednesday we'll probably do a test flight for each of these planes in different areas of the world. I think the first one I'm going to try to do is around my local area for my home airport at Clark Regional. We'll do some flying around the Louisville metropolitan area and explore what that looks like in 2024. Then we'll just do some explore around the country, around the world, and just do each of these locations, for example, which would be a lot of fun to do here. That would be really fun. I think it would be a great way to explore this part of the world. I think that would be really, don't you guys think? I think that would be a lot of fun. That's probably what we do on Wednesday and Friday. I think Sunday we might try the career mode. And since I'm still part of Firefly Air, I think I'll let you guys. Probably I could do a poll problem. Hey, Johnny Kronk, thank you so much for the follow, my dude. I hope you're doing the stream. I'm very happy to talk about my home state, obviously. Thank you so much. We're going to be heading down to our next waypoint here is Gordon. Gordon, Indiana was actually the original capital of my home state. It was founded in 1808 and served the capital of the Indiana Territory from 1813 to 1816. It was the site of Indiana's first constitutional convention in 1816, and it was Indiana's original capital until 1825 when it was moved to Indianapolis. It was also where, in 1863, it was the site of the Battle of Gordon, the only official pitched battle waged in Indiana during the Civil War. And all historical places made it a tourist destination site. The historic district, which I visited plenty of times in Gordon. Got some really cool history and stuff. Some of its historic sites include the Old Capitol, which is Indiana's first state capitol building. I got to visit that too. There's also the Kintner House Inn, which is the house hotel built in 1873. The Kinder McGrain House, built 1808. And a couple other really cool, interesting buildings, including the old Treasury Building and all that. However, one of its most notable people from Gordon is James Best, who is an actor known for as when he played Sheriff Roscoe Coltrane in The Dukes of Hazzard. That's what his main career is. He played in The Dukes of Hazzard in the comedy series. There was also Foster LaHoo, member of the U.S. Marine Corps Lieutenant General, served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And quite a few other people here. in the historic city of Cordoba. Oh, nice, from Michigan. Nice. Yeah, Michigan's a cool state. I really am interested in checking out the state of Michigan. And yes, I'll be visiting Michigan during my 50 States 50 streams. Well, yeah, great to see you. Oh, yeah, Michigan's a cool state. I'm really interested in checking out Michigan during our all 50 state stream. As for what I do on Wednesdays during that time, I think for the Wednesdays I want to do, that's a good question. It might alternate between GA and airliner stuff. I may alternate between the two. Maybe one stream we take out some of the airliners, the 74 and 78. And others I'll try with the general aviation stuff. Just trying to alternate between the two. And I don't like to have boring. We're gonna be heading up to Portland. After that, though, after we hit the core, we're gonna head by the Knobs and fly over a little bit of Louisville, Kentucky, of course, which I know it is not in Kentucky, Indiana, but it's technically right on the border between Indiana and Kentucky and the banks of the Ohio. You guys all know. Oh yeah, one more thing. The area where we're at right now is we got a lot of caverns down in this part of Indiana. I've been to quite a few caverns. I've been to Squire Boone Caverns. But I think the cave I do want to visit though is in Kentucky. Mammoth Cave is the big old Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, right now far from Bowling Green. Once we head here, we'll turn left here to Corden, and then we'll be heading to Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, we're just around 38 miles away from our final stop here in Park County, Park Regional. Yeah, I know Indiana is not exactly the most mountainous state. In fact, in terms of flat states in 2024, Indiana is actually ranked as the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh flattest state in the country. Yes, Indiana is the seventh flattest in the country. I mean, yes. I know people say Kansas is flat, but Kansas is actually pretty far down in flat states, actually. Which is crazy to think about, but Kansas actually isn't as flat as you think it is. Believe it or not, the flat state by far is Florida, but here's a state that surprised me a little bit about being flat. Kentucky. Kentucky's actually even flatter. Pretty crazy to think. Florida and Kentucky are the two flattest states in the country. As the least flat state is Alaska, which that much surprise. Alaska is not very flat at all. Then you have California, Washington, Hawaii, Nevada, and Arizona. Some pretty big surprises, even for me. Here we go, guys. But yeah, it's going to be a weird time to move on from MSFS 2024. It's going to be pretty crazy. 4 years and so many memories made over the past 4 years. From my first memories with being a bush pilot, doing the MSFS bush pilot stuff, to with all the group flights with so many amazing prominent flight sim content creators, to being a streamer myself and hanging out with all of you guys. Been an absolute blast for 4 years. And I can't wait for another 4 years with MSFS 2024 for hopefully for another amazing 4 years. And I have so many journeys and streams I'm planning that you guys are going to absolutely. And I hope so. Too. Very excited. Hey, thank you so much, New Civic. Thank you guys so much for the follow, my dude. Thank you so much. So we're gonna be turning left. So down below us is the historic first capital of Indiana. This is Corden, first capital of Indiana. So Indiana's historic first capital. Here in Corden. Now we're going to head up to We're gonna head to the banks of the Ohio River. We're gonna be flying around near Louisville, Kentucky. If you guys aren't aware about Louisville, of course, it is technically my home city. It's the closest major city to where I live. It's actually in Kentucky. Is all you guys probably know that Louisville, Kentucky is world famous for being the birthplace of Muhammad Ali, considered to be the greatest boxer of all time. Absolute legend of a boxer. Got tons of great, tons of really cool museums and stuff. Most notably, the Muhammad Ali Center, the Louisville Slugger Museum in. Talk about baseball. You got the Slugger Museum, the Fraser History Museum is nice. Lots of attraction events, including most notably the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs, is such a great area for all your sports loving. It's a great sports town. College sports are a huge deal in the city, mainly the Louisville Cardinals, college basketball, football, and of course, we also got a really great minor league soccer team, which unfortunately got eliminated in the semifinals. Darn you, Rhode Island. Got eliminated by freaking Rhode Island. Lost to freaking Rhode Island. Rhode Island's all the way to the championship. But no, we got a lot of great sports in the city. He's got a lot of sports and stuff. There's also the old Louisville, lots of Victorian houses and stuff in old Louisville. And of course, Louisville is also known for its international airports, which is one of the biggest cargo hubs in the world. It's the world hub for UPS. It's one of the busiest cargo hubs in the world. In fact, it's not uncommon to see more cargo transferred through the airport than passengers. They fly cargo all over the world in a facility large. Hey, Dryson, welcome on in, my dude. I hope you're doing well, Dryson. I hope you had a great stream. We're just about almost to the end of our journey. We're flying. We flew across the state of Indiana today. We started from South Bend, Indiana. We made our way through Fort Wayne. Then Fort Wayne, we head through into Grissom Air Reserve Base. Then to Indianapolis. We then flew through Brown County and Corden. We're gonna fly near Louisville, Kentucky, my home city, and then we'll make our way to my home airport for our flash stream of MSFS 2020. Yes, because I'm fully moving on to the new sim in 2024, and I'll deal with all the growing pains with that. But the flight's going fantastic, Dryson. If you guys haven't checked him out, Dryson's a longtime friend of the stream, and a great dude as well. So thank you so much. I hope you had a great stream too, my dude. Where'd you end up flying today, Dryson? I know you got some few exciting flight plans coming up for you for sure. If you look to our left, we see New Albany, Indiana. This is part of the Louisville metropolitan area. It's part of Louisville metropolitan area, of course, which also contains others. It's actually the 43rd largest metropolitan area in the country. New Albany. Here's New Albany, and this area is most well known for Culberson Mansion, and it was also known for some notable people, but most notably Sherman Minton, who ruled in the Brown v. Board of Education. And Edwin Hubble actually was an astronomer he was alumni of New Albany High School. Pretty noble stuff. Oh yeah, and infielder Burt and Billy Herman too. There's Louisville, Kentucky. There's Sanford. There's Muhammad Ali International, Sanford Field. Oh, nice! You did Need for Speed Underground 2. Oh, cool, Need for Speed. Now that's an old school racing game right there. Back when Need for Speed was good. My favorite Need for Speed was the 2010 Hot Pursuit. That was crap ton. Yeah, here's downtown Louisville, Kentucky. There's the KFC Young Center. That's for Louisville basketball. And of course, there's all the museums and stuff. Beautiful facilities. There's a couple of bridges here too. Louisville Slugger Field. That's where the Cats play minor league baseball. Beautiful Louisville. Now we're gonna head to my home airport, Clark Regional Airport. Here's my airport now. So guys, I hope you all had a great stream. I mean, this has been, and I mean, I think this was the perfect way to wrap up the 4 years of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Land on runway 36 for our arrival. It was absolutely a fun ride. I agree with you, Typhon. This was a great point for MSFS 2020. I mean, it changed me a lot. This flight sim was so different from the last one. It's like completely changed. I simply can't wait for another with flight sim. So, guys, it's been an absolute. I make the lane here at main lane. Stop right here, and we'll. Park right. So, guys, that is it, everyone. This is our final MSFS 2020 stream. I will post this on YouTube, but this was our final stream for this sim. Can't believe it's been 4 years since it first came out back in 2020. I mean, so many amazing memories over the years. From my very first ever stream, doing my baseball series, to all the historical flights and journeys we made all across the globe. So I cannot wait for another 4 more years with Microsoft Flights in 2024. You guys on Wednesday on MSFS 2024. So we'll go ahead and say hello to our lovely friend Kaharia. We'll make sure you guys stick around for the raid. And I hope to see you all again on Wednesday. Take care, everyone, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Goodbye, everyone.